Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at crackedfemalecode.com. Alright, so I just got a thought that crossed my mind that I know a lot of people, it's not just men, but people in general don't. It's something they don't understand and they don't know. Now, one of the things a lot of guys are not aware of, because most men are in their left brain, the left brain is disconnected from your five senses. When you're in your right brain, you are more attuned literally to your five senses, so you can feel the vibe a little bit better. You hear music better, you taste food better, you colors pop more. So okay, I'm gonna give you a real life example, which I'm sure you guys have all had. I'll give you two. Number one. Have you ever, I used to have an alarm clock that would, when it went on in the morning before school, it would turn on the radio station, okay? And I noticed some mornings a song would come on and I'm like, oh God, that song sucks, I've heard that song like 50 times, I'm figuring, well, maybe I'm just sick and tired of it. But then maybe a week later, or maybe even the next morning, I wake up and I'm like, man, that song is awesome. And I'm thinking, why is it today I think the same song is amazing, and yet just a day or two ago, I couldn't stand it. I was bored of it. So on the days that you really, really enjoy music, like let's say it's a song you've heard for 10 years, and you're like, yeah, I've heard it so many times, I'm kind of sick and tired. But then you have that one day where you're like, man, you're just really into the song. That's because you're more into the right brain. In fact, the further you go shift over into your right brain, the more music sounds amazing, and you really enjoy the music a lot more. Now it's the same thing with any and all five senses. So let's choose pizza. So okay, let's just pick Domino's Pizza. So let's say you pick Domino's Pizza one day and you order the same pizza and you're just like, man, it's really good. You love the flavor, even though it's a cheap pizza, but you're really, really into it, right? Well, again, you're in your right brain. But then you go back a week later or maybe a month later and you order the same pizza and you're like, man, doesn't taste as good, man. They didn't make it right this time. And that's what a lot of people think. That's not what it is. It's because you're in your left brain. So the further you go into the left brain, the more you disconnect from your right brain, which is the five senses. So you're detuning. And this is what women mean when they say, I'm looking for a guy who's tuned in. They literally mean to your five senses. Because, okay, watch this. When you are in your right brain, it allows her to go into her right brain, and now she can feel everything better. She can smell food, she can taste food better, she can enjoy love and cuddling and feeling better. Like everything just feels better. And that's kind of the thing a lot of guys don't know. You get frustrated, like Tony Sanser, by the way, is because you get stuck in your forehead, which means you're over in your left brain, and all that energy is going into that tip of that V and it can't get out. Well, when you go to the right brain, you relax, your muscles relax, you breathe deep. And it makes life feel better. Now, I've actually gone to Domino's Pizza, and I was just kind of joking around one day, and it just dawned on me was this, because I have done it in the past, and I walked in, and I know this crew of people pretty well. I've lived here many, many years. And I walked in and I said, hey man, the last pizza I bought sucked. It was no good compared to the other one. How come it didn't taste as good? And he gave me this look. I go, dude, I'm just messing with you. And so he goes, man, you would not believe how many people that are regulars, how they'll say, hey, make it right this time. Or, last time it didn't taste as good, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, dude, it's the same exact ingredients from the same cans, from the same company. He goes, we haven't changed our sauce in freaking years. He goes, we have the same cheese from the same company with the same ingredients. He goes, we don't change it. He goes, we also have the same dough from the same company with the same ingredients, and we put it on this roller thing that goes through the oven, and it's timed. Every pizza goes through the same temperature, the same heat, and it goes through on this roller thing at the same exact time and rate. He goes, it's not different. It's the same pizza. Now, I used to work at Domino's when I was in high school for one summer. And let me tell you, it's the same damn pizza. And yet the funny thing is, some days you're like, man, it just doesn't taste as good today. Now you might be thinking, what the hell does that got to do with picking up on women or turning a woman on? Well, it actually has a big part of it. One thing that men have a hard time understanding is right brain processing, including being tuned in. In fact, when women say, I'm looking for a guy who's, tuned in, grounded, all this means in your right brain. Men are like, yeah, okay, what the hell are you talking about? Because it makes her feel good. Now, here's the other side, which I kind of already said. When you're in your left brain, if you stay there, and let's say you meet with a girl, she happens to be in her right brain, she's tuned into her body, she's feeling really good, she's comfortable, she's relaxed, and you're in your logical left brain. Well, if you stay there, it slowly pulls her over to her left brain, because these are two different processors. In order to have rapport and to understand you, she has to use the same processor. Okay, so now she's in her logical brain, and now all the romance just went out the window because her mating system is connected to the right brain's communication processor. So you just put yourself in the friend zone by turning her off. Now I'm going to give you a really big tip in a second here. So number one, here's what our unconscious minds do. We go into rapport with the people that we're around. So if you're in your logical brain, she's eventually going to go into that brain, and now there's no romance. She's going to be like, yeah, thanks for the date, I want to go home now, because she's not horny. Because she's feeling logical, and logic has nothing to do with her mating system at all. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. This is what this video is really about. This pre-stuff was trying to help you understand something. It's going to add to what I'm going into right now. Alright, so I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to write it down or type it up on your computer, or at least just think about it and write down 1, 2, or 3 words or phrases or whatever, okay? So I'm going to ask you a question. What is confidence? So take about 10 seconds or 20 seconds and just kind of think about it. Like, what is confidence? And go ahead and write it down. I bet you're going to be surprised at what confidence actually is. So, a lot of guys, okay, not a lot, I would say every single one I've ever met in my life, I've only seen a few men that really understand what this is. A lot of guys think, well, you got to be strong, got to be confident, you got to be bold, you got to be aggressive, you got to be this tough guy, Well, let me tell you what, so, okay, here's how, okay, because of the work that I do, I mean, like you saw me with the Buddhist monks right there. I was in the yellow shirt, by the way. I've done a lot of meditation. I've done a ton of energy healing work on myself, and I've gone to energy healers, etc. And I've had some monks do healing work on me. And I've done a lot of breath work. Well, I don't even like to call it that, but breath work. Like, there's a technique which I'll make a video and I'll teach you how to do it, because it helps you to feel better. Okay. And it clears your mind, and technically it makes you more conscious. Okay, maybe I'll get into the word, like, what does that word conscious really mean? And there, when you understand what this means, you're like, oh, so that's why women like that. Like, well, yeah. Alright, so what were your answers? Alright, so think about your answers for a second. So when I started to become really, really confident, it really came from the healing work, the meditation, and the breathing techniques that I was using every day for many, many, many years, like well over 15, 20 years. And I started noticing that women would say, wow, you're really confident. And I'd be like, I am? Like, I didn't feel like I was confident. Like, really? Oh, okay. And I would hear it from people, especially women, all the time at the grocery store, just random women, like, wow, you're a really confident guy. I'm like, oh, thank you. I and I literally was like, I didn't realize I was confident. And one day it dawned on me, that's because my definition of confidence was completely wrong. It has nothing to do with being cock of the walk, or look at me, or I'm confident, I'm strong, all that. That's all ego based, and that's where a lot of guys are like, yeah, confidence is this egotistical thing. No, it's not. So one day this girl came up to me and she again said, she goes, "Wow, you're a really confident guy." And I looked at her, I'm like, "Really? I'm not really doing anything. I'm just, I was kind of lost in my own world, doing my own thing." And she goes, "Yeah, you look really comfortable with yourself." And I said, "Well, I am. I feel very comfortable with it." And she goes, "Well, that's confidence." I was like, "Oh." Now, you guys know how I harp on these internal awareness techniques that I teach you in the course? These internal awareness techniques teach you to let go. Now, what do you mean let go? Most men are stuck in their logical brain, and that's holding on. And holding on is insecure. So what most guys believe is confidence is actually insecurity trying to cover up for being insecure. So confidence is simply just literally and genuinely feeling comfortable with yourself. Now, a lot of people on the planet can't do that. Like, women are much better at it because they work at feeling good. So earlier I was talking about left brain, right brain. If you feel uptight, the right brain's more relaxed. When you learn how to be internal, it opens you up to your right brain, which allows you to go into the peripheral nervous system. Now, there's 3 different names depending on whether you're talking to a brain surgeon, an eye doctor, or I just forgot the other one, damn it. So there's peripheral nervous system, then there's the linear, that's the left brain, right? And then there's the foveal, which is when your pupils are narrow, versus peripheral when they're expanded, okay? So there's different words for the same thing. There's 2 sets of nerves that go through your body. When you open up to the right brain set of nerves, those nerves go down inside your body, and when you're in that system, everything relaxes. Your muscles, your breathing, you can breathe deep in your lungs, and you just feel really good. When you're in your logical system, you're uptight. In fact, it literally tightens all your muscles in your jaw muscles, your face muscles, the muscles around your neck and your head, everything, your arms, legs, body, chest, and you can't breathe as deep. It's kind of harder to kind of breathe deep, and but when you're really relaxed, you're in the open system. When you're in the open system, you feel comfortable. This is why I spend a lot of time conditioning you to be very comfortable, because when you're feeling comfortable, she can feel that and she'll feel comfortable around you, and now she can open up to her right brain. And now not only does she feel comfortable with you because you feel comfortable, she's also connected to her mating system and her romantic system. So now she's feeling warm, comfortable, and sensual around you. And now she wants to connect with you sexually. And this is why I don't teach lines or openers or all these step 1, step 2, step 3 things. Because in order to do that, you have to go into your left brain. In order to memorize something, you have to use your left brain. So if I make you memorize steps and lines, you have to go into your left brain, and now you're Mr. Logical. And what happens is your tones, like you're speaking out of your nose and nasal cavity area, and you sound kind of nasally, and it's uptight. And now she's going to feel uptight, and now she's going to go into her forehead. And women say this all the time, like, "Oh God, I'm stuck in my head. I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to go do some deep breathing. I'm going to go do yoga. I'm going to stretch," because those things bring you back into your body. Now remember, the left brain's the external brain. So when you're in your external brain, you're looking around at other people to see if they're looking at you. When you're in the internal brain, your awareness is internal. You don't care about anyone. In fact, that's why women will walk like, "God, you're really confident." I'm like, and I'll look at them like, 'cause it's like I'm inside doing my own thing, and I'll come out and look at them like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, and what they're saying is like, you're not looking around to see who thinks you're cool and who thinks you're a good-looking guy or who thinks you're the shit. Like it's like you get caught up in your own world. When you do that, it allows her to get caught up in her own world and or in your world, because you're both internal. Now you might be thinking, well, who cares? Well, do you want to get laid? Do you want a woman to wrap her arms around you and hug you and be sensual and soft with you? Or do you want her to say, "Yeah, I've got a headache, I got to go home"? Your choice. So when you do this really good, you completely come out of the ego. That's why a lot of guys it's like, I'm not saying like, "Oh, I'm this super cool dude." I'm saying anyone can learn this. And here's the benefit. It opens up your heart. It opens you up to your 5 senses. You become the guy that she calls, "I'm looking for a guy who's tuned in. And when you finally do it, you'll be like, oh, now I understand what women mean, because now you're in that system and you suddenly hear words and phrases, which are right brain words and phrases, and you're like, oh, I understand what she means now. It becomes automatic. Let me ask you some basic questions and I'll give you some tips on how to do it. I already actually gave them to you really quick about what a woman would do, but I'll do it again. So here's my number one question. Do you honestly think that by being logical with a woman, that's what's going to make her fall in love with you? The answer is absolutely not. It won't. It'll keep her stuck in her head. The number one thing women don't want to be, they don't want to be stuck in their head because it feels like their head's clamped down, like they got a headache, like they're in jail, like they're being controlled. And that's what the left brain does. The left brain reaches out. It's like your hands grabbing a steering wheel. You're grabbing the steering wheel. You're grabbing the stick shift. You're pulling the door closed. You're pulling it open. It's all about control. When you learn how to open up to the right brain, you learn how to completely let go of control. And for most men, this is terrifying because it's all about control. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I've got to turn her on. I've got to do this. I've got to do the gambit. I've got to do, it's like in my school, everything is really simple. You don't have to do anything. The moment you learn how to truly let go and open up, women will come flocking to you. Because now you're allowing them to come to you versus controlling them, pushing or pulling. If you got this far, congratulations. I'm going to teach you something you've never even heard of in your entire life. What I'm about to say is what I just said before, but I'm going to say it in a completely different way that will help your brain understand it and go, oh. Especially when you learn how. Now, what I'm about to teach you is the core mastery of right brain being internal, connected, emotional grounding, etc. Okay, when you come in, we will learn I will teach you. You will learn all these different techniques on how to do this one very simple thing. And here's the funny thing: when you really get good at doing it, you're actually doing nothing. And suddenly you're going to understand when Bruce Lee said to that kid, "Don't think, feel." Okay, so there are two forms of energy on the 3D dimension, if you want to call it that, okay? On the third dimension. So there's push energy and there's pull energy. So the male energy pushes out from your forehead, and women can feel it and they fucking hate it. And also that, but out of your right eye, the right eye is the external. So if you remember as a kid, you learned that the left side of the body is controlled by the right side of the brain. And the right side of the body is controlled by the left side of the brain. Okay, so the nerves crisscross inside your skull. Okay, so I can look at someone and know which brain they're in simply by looking at their eye. If they're more focused on the right eye, that's the push energy, and you can feel it coming out. Okay, and women say, "Oh, I hate it." It's like men, they laser beam you to death. It's like a laser beam, and you poke her boobie, you poke her tits, you poke her in the eyeball, and they freaking hate it. A lot of men go, but don't women tell you that they want you to look into their eyes? Yes, but that's not what they mean, and that's a good example of what I'm talking about. Right brain meaning is different than left brain meaning when you use the same words, because the right brain gives different meanings to the same words. So when she says A out of her right brain, she means A, but you take it through your left brain and it changes the meaning to everything she just said, and now it means B. And then the two of you will argue to death like, you said this and this meant that. And this is one of the biggest confusions between men and women. You literally have to learn her language, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm going to talk about the left and right eyes. So a lot of times when I teach this technique to men go, but they're like, but Mike, women are always saying they want us to look into their eyes. I'm like, yeah, they use the word into, but they don't actually mean into in the laser beam way. Because your natural brain goes, well, I'm looking in like literally into her eyes, like you're poking her like a laser beam. She does not fucking like that. Let me poke you in the eye and see how that feels. You know, what are you talking about? We're not poking him in the eye. Yes, you are. It's literally concentrated energy coming. I'm telling you right now, the first time my girlfriend said it, I was probably 22 years old. She goes, oh, I hate it when men laser beam you. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, well, it's like they laser beam you with their eyes. She goes, I can't stand it. And then her girlfriend goes, oh, God, it's the worst. So I automatically like, oh, I know what they're talking about. See, when you're in your right brain, That's the receiving brain. The left brain is the push energy. The right brain is the open receiving, like a funnel, like you're allowing things to come in. So watch this. The male penis is the push energy. It pushes into the vagina. But the woman's vagina is open and receives. So when a man or someone using the left brain, the male brain, is manipulating someone, they're reaching out to control them. And they're pushing. Whereas a woman, their form of manipulation is pulling. So the male energy is push, the female energy is pull. And when women manipulate men this way, what do men always say? And they can't stand it. They're like, oh God, women, it's like my girlfriend or my wife, she's just jerking me around. It literally is like they're grabbing you and pulling you, jerking you, versus pushing you. Here's the deal. A man would rather be manipulated and pushed around versus being jerked around. It's two different energies. We are comfortable with the male energy, the external push energy. When someone starts to pull us, it's like a weird concept and it really offends the shit out of us. Now watch this. The left brain is the external push energy. The male language is the left brain external push language. It literally is pushy. This is why women are saying, oh, men are so pushy, because you have this forehead energy and this right eye energy that pushes, okay? And then on top of it, the male penis is also the linear external push symbol, or it's not symbol, but I'm going to call it the push energy for right now. It's the push object. Everything we do is push, push, push. And women can't stand it. It drives them nuts. So this is why women are always complaining, oh, men are so pushy. Now watch this. So the male left brain is the linear external push energy brain. Now the reason why I added linear is because it means it goes in a line. L-I-N-E-A-R, linear. Now our language is the external linear language. It goes in a line. It literally, if you come in, I'll literally write it down. I'll show you. I'll draw a line and I'll say, well, first we do this, second, third, fourth, before, then, later, after. We're going up and down a line. The male penis is a linear object. It's like a line and it goes internal into the vagina. It's the external push energy. Now the female energy is the internal. The right brain is the internal processor. The right brain language is the internal language. It's literally called the internal language. The male language called the external. The female vagina is the internal sex organ. And it literally receives. Now here's the deal. Humans are out of balance, especially men. Men and women are supposed to be both left and right. Now women are left and right. They can push and they can also receive. Most men can just push and push and push. This is why men have heart attacks, because they never learn to open up and allow the energy to flow inwards. So it's got to be both, okay? When you do the internal stuff, it really turns a woman on. When you do the external stuff, it really irritates the crap out of women. Now, what if I told you there was a third option, and this is the option that nobody ever hears about? First of all, the internal way is unbelievably powerful. So all these other dating coaches, the men, they're teaching you step 1, step 2, and rules. Now the left brain it processes through rules, structure, and organization, which means you're using the external push linear system, and that's just going to turn women off. And it drives you nuts because you got, well, point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, all these fucking rules. Don't do this, don't do that. Not this one guy. There's a bunch of guys that are doing dating things, and they're always telling you what not to do. I'm going to teach you what to do and how to do it. So number 1, the internal system is really powerful at attracting and seducing women and melting their hearts. It's everything they want. You want to know something that's more powerful? So there's push energy and then there's pull energy. Now, by the way, this isn't everything we have, okay? Electricity. I remember when I was learning it, a ninth grade electricity class. There's the male energy that goes external outside of the electric company, and it pushes into your home, it pushes into the light bulb, and then it returns. The returning energy is the female energy. Do you guys remember this in science class? So now it returns back and goes through the wire. Have you ever noticed that when you plug something into the wall, it has 2 wires side by side? One is the male energy, and the other one is the female energy. One is the push energy, one is the receiving. Our brains are the same way. One is the push brain, the other one's the receiving. Your heart's the same way too. It receives blood and then it pushes blood out. You have an artery and you have a vein. The artery is the push system and the vein is the returning or receiving system. Now, you ready for number 3? There's push, there's pull, and there's neutral. This will blow women's minds. If you truly learn to master this, women will be all over. I'm telling you, women will stare at you. They're going to walk by you. They're going to stand by you. They're going to ask you stupid questions just to start a conversation. And the funny thing about it is it's what pickup artist courses teach you to do. Go up and ask her this question about blah, blah, or say this thing. Hey, blah, blah, blah. Women will do it. And here's the thing. You're going to see how stupid that is. You're going to be like, man, that's freaking dumb. When you are truly neutral, everything shifts into your power. There becomes like a power vacuum and it all comes to you. Now here's the weird thing. You don't push and you don't pull. You literally do nothing. Now here's the deal. Learning how to do this is not easy. I am telling you, it will just teach it to us in the video, Mike. I am freaking telling you, it is not easy. This is why I do the 5 or 6 day conditioning course. I condition this into you. This is a third core piece of my entire system. I'm not sure if I want to call it the caveman code or crack the female code system. I think I want to call it the caveman code. Now here's the deal. What I'm teaching you, what I just shared with you, is something that Buddhist monks master. It is, you hear a lot of pickup artists course like, yeah, man, I've got inner game. Those guys don't have inner game for shit. I've never met one that has true inner game. They don't even know what it means. They think it means left brain, okay, gotta control my thoughts, gotta control my feelings. If you're controlling, that means you're in your logical brain, which means you're using your push system. When you truly go neutral, your brain goes empty. There's not a single thought. There's nothingness. Your heart energy, there's nothing. There's no anxiety. There's no energy bouncing around. There's no ping pong in your heart and chest or belly area. It literally goes neutral to nothingness. When you learn how to do this, women are going to be on you like flies. It's not an easy thing to do. But there's a series of internal awareness techniques that pull you back inside and reconnects you. And if you do it right and do it enough times, you'll be able to do it. Here's the thing. Everyone that does it properly, you pop open and you start looking around and go, what the hell? What's going on? I go, do you feel free? They're like, I feel completely free. Like, and that's how you know you'll feel completely free. Like, there'll be no tension in your body at all. Let me tell you something. This is a mastery course. This is not some pickup artist course. I've got some videos of Adam. I decided I'm going to start uploading Adam's videos pretty soon here, maybe starting after this, but I've got a couple more videos I've got to upload. So he talks about how much this has changed his life. You want power? I will give you power. Oh, by the way, this gives you social power when you do it right. And I'm telling you, the thing about it is you can't do it from ego. If you're like, yeah, I'm trying to get people to look at me. The minute you do that, you just went external. The minute you even think that, you just came out of it. It's a balancing act. It's literally, there's a video with a Benev in it. I think we talk about it in one of his videos. I'll pull it up too. And he goes, man, I just couldn't do it. And I said, why? He goes, because I was trying to do it. I go, exactly. And one day, Benev was really frustrated, and he was in my living room, and I had a rock, and I held it, man. I go, you see this? He goes, yep. I go, this is how you do it. And I slightly tilted my hand, and the rock fell out of my hand and dropped onto the carpet, onto the floor. I go, that's how you do it. You let go. Number 1, this is not an easy course. Do not think it's memorization. He's just going to give me a bunch of lines and tricks and magic fucking potions. It is something you're going to have to practice, you're going to have to dedicate, and you're going to have to work on. But here's the thing, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Once you get it once or twice when you're with me, then you can start to do it on your own, and that's when it becomes fun. Because the goal is, I don't want you to need me. I want you to be able to do this stuff on your own and to be able to develop it and improve it on your own. Number 2, right now, buy my book, Crack the Female Code. This book will show you stuff you've never even heard of. And the other thing that's most important is it prepares your mind and your system to take my course. The reason why I wrote the book is because I noticed men would cry about the middle of the third day. Some of them would say, hey man, can we just take the rest of the day off? They'd have a breakdown, they'd go back to their hotel and they'd sleep for the rest of the day, then we'd start fresh the next day. Here's what's happening. What I'm going to teach you is so completely opposite of what you've ever thought in a million billion years. It causes, what do they call that? It's called cognitive dissonance. It's where you really, really believe something, but then someone comes along and shows you in the real world, in real life, like, look, what you're doing does not work. What I do works. Now watch this. And they show you something that in a million years, like, oh, that won't work. And then it does. Now, that happened to Adam when he first came out here from the UK. He was looking at me like, dude, this stuff isn't going to work. And then everywhere we went, women would talk to me. They would give me their numbers. They would do favors. I literally would get free dinners, free desserts everywhere we go. And he's like, I don't understand. And this is what he said. He goes, I'm better looking than you. I own a freaking gym next to London Square. He goes, I make this much amount of money. My uncle's a billionaire. What else did he say? He goes, I'm in perfect shape. He goes, your hair's thinning. He goes, you got wrinkles around your eyes. Everything that he believed with all his heart and with all his soul, including the pickup artist stuff, was not working. And yet here I was coming along, and it worked everywhere we went. It didn't matter if it was at a restaurant, at a grocery store, at a coffee shop, at a club, walking down the street of San Francisco. It didn't matter. Adam literally had a nervous breakdown the third day. He broke down crying hysterically. And so I basically said, why don't we get you some lunch? You'll take you back to your hotel and just sleep for the whole day. If we need it, we could take an extra day off. Go to Napa Valley or just lay by the pool tomorrow, whatever. When you're ready, we'll get back to work. His brain was just stunned at watching. He goes, you walk into a restaurant, you don't do anything. The women come to you. He goes, that was the other thing. He was wearing his $5,000 business suit. And here I am wearing jeans, tennis shoes, and a t-shirt. I kid you not. He's like, I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense. All right, I'm going to give you a couple things that'll get you started in this journey. Number one, deep tissue massage, where they're pushing down on you fairly hard. It doesn't have to be extremely hard. When you get a massage and someone's pushing into, inwards, internal, into your muscles, it brings your awareness inside that muscle, inside your body. That's internal awareness. One of the greatest things that Tony Robbins taught us, he kind of said it, and I think a lot of people missed it, but he went over it pretty in depth. He said, I'm going to tell you the number one thing that you're going to have to do. The most important thing if you want to be happy, if you want to be successful, if you want your relationship to work. He goes, I am telling you, forget everything else I just taught you. Forget everything you read in my books, everything you've learned at any of my seminars or home study programs. This one thing, without this, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be successful. He said, as you've noticed, we've been working on a lot of techniques that can shift your emotional state so you can feel better, so you can feel more confident or happy, etc., etc. He said, the number one thing that I am going to tell you to do is to become the master of making yourself feel good. So we did a lot of things where we would stand up every 45 minutes. We would say yes, yes, yes while clapping our hands. Clap, 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 clap. Whoa, yes. And we'd clap really hard and we'd sit down and say, sit down in the peak state. We would do deep breathing techniques. We would massage each other. We did all kinds of things. He goes, and when he was telling us the number one thing, you have to learn how to make yourself feel good. Because this puts you in power and in charge of your life. See, what he tells us is, look, what do you do? Why do you do drugs? Why do you smoke cigarettes? Why do you drink coffee? Because you want some external thing outside of your body to make you feel good. He goes, instead, learn how to do things that you can do without drugs, without chemicals, without caffeine, without freaking watching television. He goes, a lot of you waste your lives away watching television. He goes, but what is your higher purpose? He goes, your purpose isn't necessarily negative. He goes, you want to feel good. You're in a bad mood and you hate your job, you hate your life, so the least you can do is watch a TV show that makes you laugh. He goes, the problem is now you're dependent on that. He said the problem with most human beings is they don't take charge of their life. They don't take charge of their happiness. They never learn how to make themselves feel good. When you feel good about yourself, you're in a better emotional state. You're much more likely to perform better, learn better. You're much more likely to actually sit down and read the book because you feel good about it versus, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. And next thing you know, a month has gone by and tomorrow was 4 weeks ago. And you know what? He's right. So number 1, deep tissue massage. Number 2, start stretching every day. Do your deep breathing. Here's one deep breathing technique. Breathe in. Hold the breath for 4 seconds, let it out. Breathe in again, hold the breath for about 8 seconds, and then blow it out. Now, when I stretch, I'll take a deep breath and I'll lean forward and I'll try to touch my toes or whatever I'm doing, and then I'll hold the breath and I'll hold the stretch for about 10 seconds, and then the next time 12, and then 15, then 18, then 20, and if I can, 25 seconds. And then when I let the air out, I stretch a little bit further and then lean into it. Now what happens is when you hold your breath, it shoves the oxygen through your lungs into your bloodstream, and that's what makes you feel better. It also relaxes your muscles and your tendons and ligaments. When you breathe like that, you can stretch more. So number 1, deep tissue massage. Tony Robbins said, look, if you do yourself one favor, get a professional deep tissue massage for at least an hour or longer once a week for the next 10 weeks. Your life will change. And here's what it does. When they're massaging you, it pulls your awareness into your body. So what happens, not only do you become relaxed, you're opening up to your right brain, which is the open brain, which is the flow brain. So number 1, deep tissue massage. Number 2, stretching. Number 3, deep breathing. Hold your breath for longer and longer periods of times. And I would say do at least 15 deep breaths where you hold your breath for at least 15 seconds or longer each time. Now there's other breathing techniques that I teach, but we're just getting you started here. Now another thing I recommend is yoga. So that's a form of stretching, okay? Yoga can really kind of tune you into your body. It's a different form of stretching. You might learn some new stretches, etc. But it really will help you to ground. So another thing I recommend is meditation. Learn how to meditate. That's another thing I'm not going to teach right now, but meditate. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Clean, filtered water. If you have to buy a Brita filter, or I think this one's called Pure. Yeah, it's called Pure. Filtered water. Get your minerals, especially magnesium. It's really, really good for you. Eat healthy. Green leafy vegetables have magnesium, okay? Eat celery. If you're a man, celery is really good for you because we burn up a lot of celery. That mineral is something we lose when we have sex. Okay, so eat celery every day. I eat 2 stalks of celery every day. It makes a difference in my life, and I've been doing it ever since I was 20 some years old. On an empty stomach, key phrase, empty stomach, in the morning, eat at least 2 oranges or 2 apples. See, you want water-rich fruits, something that if you squeeze, the juices will literally flow out, like watermelon, like oranges, etc. Apples, yeah, you can squeeze some. That's pretty water-rich. First thing I do in the morning is I drink a tall glass of water. If you're over 200 pounds, you might want to do a tall glass and a half or 2 glasses. Let it digest for 5 minutes, then eat 2 oranges, 2 apples, or whatever. Do not mix fruit. If you're going to eat oranges, and then let it digest for 20 minutes before you eat anything else. Water-rich foods digest fast. Things like bananas, dates, and raisins, they take about 45 minutes to digest. So if you eat those, you got to wait 45 minutes, then you can eat your proteins and vegetables. Another thing I highly recommend that you do, acupuncture. It can help you get rid of anxiety. I used to go to Dr. Chen in San Francisco, and I don't know if he's there anymore. That was over 22 years ago, 23 years ago. Great job. How he did it was the first 2 weeks you show up 3 times. He sells you herbs, which is back then it was like $60 for the herbs alone. I think each session was about $60+. And then the first 2 weeks were three sessions, and then the third and fourth is 2 sessions per week, and then the next one was 1 session, and you would do that for about another 3 or 4 weeks, and your anxiety would go way down. Now, talking about anxiety, when you open up to your right brain, your anxiety goes away. So these techniques that I'm teaching you will help you to ground yourself. You're like, what do you mean? It's like a grounding wire like that you have in your home. You ever notice when you plug in a plug, you've got a third little hole? Some like power electrical cords have that third one that connects to the grounding wire in your home or in a building, and that wire goes down into the earth. It grounds you. Telephone poles have the same thing. If you look at telephone poles, I think it's every third or fifth telephone pole, there's a wire coming down the side of the pole and it goes down into the earth. It's the grounded electricity. Same thing with your car. You have little grounding things inside your car so the electricity flows. Otherwise it sparks and ping pongs all over the place. And that's what causes anxiety inside your system. So when you're up in your forehead, you're not grounded. How many times have you heard a woman talk about being emotionally grounded? Oh, I gotta go to yoga. I gotta ground myself. I gotta walk barefoot in the grass. It's actual electricity that gets grounded inside your body. If you didn't know it, your muscles, your heart, and your brain all work off of electricity. If you don't believe me, go to your local college and go to your professor that focuses on that stuff and ask him. He'll say, well, yeah, like you didn't know that? Have you ever heard of electrolytes? What is that about? That's about electricity. When you learn these techniques on how to be emotionally grounded, women will be drawn to you and they're going to want to touch you because you become the grounding wire and now they can calm down. Now here's the deal. Emotional grounding means you're completely calm. Not talking fast and thinking fast and think, talk, go fast, let's get some energy pills, let's get some caffeine. No, that's the wrong thing. Slow all the way down and stop. Literally, you pull your car over, you stop, you pull the emergency brake, and you turn the engine off. You do this, women will get in freely. They'll just open the door and they'll jump in. Just like those two girls that jumped into my lap. That's literally what happened. I never even looked at her. She just grabbed me, started, touched me and started crawling into my lap. I was like, holy shit, like what is this? It makes them feel very comfortable and you become the source of them feeling comfortable. Before a woman will have sex with you, she has to physically and emotionally feel comfortable, which means don't talk fast, slow down. In fact, completely shut up. I'll give you one more tip. When a woman is talking, you should be breathing. Breathe in your nose, hold it for a second or two, breathe out your mouth. Breathe in your nose, hold it for 2 or 3 seconds, breathe out your mouth. Most men don't breathe, and because of that, it puts you in a panic attack because you don't have enough oxygen in your bloodstream, and it basically starves your system, and it causes your heart to beat faster. Because if you don't have plenty of oxygen in your bloodstream, your heart has to go faster to push the blood through your system so it can feed your brain and your muscles. By the way, oxygen is the #1 food source or fuel source for your brain and your muscles. If you breathe in a lot, you'll have plenty of fuel and therefore your body relaxes and your heart will slow down. Remember, this is a mastery course. This is a Jedi Master course. It really is. It will change your business. It'll improve your sales. I guarantee it. Your sales will go up. Everything you do in life will become better. And people will start looking to you because now you're internal. The external brain is looking for other people to lead them. The internal brain is a self-led man. And that's what a woman is looking for. Confidence is just feeling comfortable with yourself. Trust me, it'll make you feel comfortable talking to women, meeting women, and women will want to be around you. Alright guys, remember, click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment, and if you want, you can go ahead and make a donation. It helps out this channel, supports this channel to keep it going. There's a PayPal link right there. Otherwise, you can also buy one of my dating and relationship books. Highly recommend you either get the Ultimate Package, which has all my books, or Cracked Female Code. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Remember, go to Cracked Female Code and buy my book, Cracked Female Code, at crackedfemalecode.com.